tonight on The Final Play.
That's what gets us all excited. I mean, that's what we're preparing for.
All I want is your best.
The preseason is inching nearer, and Who Dat Nation will be in for a treat, seeing the Drew Brees-Brandon Cooks connection that thrilled in 2014. They'll also see one of their own in New Orleanian Delvin Breaux, whose inspiring story is only outdone by his camp performance so far.
That's a dream come true. This is perfect. This is what I need right here.
We're breaking down all the big camp storylines and position battles to get you geared up for the opener on Thursday. Plus,
let's go, down, turn the toe, big step, good.
College camp is underway, and both LSU and Tulane are talking bounce-back seasons. Football is right around the corner, and the Final Play is right now.
From Fox 8 Sports, this is The Final Play with Chad Sabany. Brought to you by your Southern Quality Ford dealers and Oceana Grill.
Welcome into The Final Play. The Saints are back to work, looking to correct the mistakes of Friday's black and gold scrimmage. Head coach Sean Payton knows that time is limited before his team kicks off its preseason on Thursday night right here on Fox 8. While the Saints battle their share of injuries, the players are trying to become more efficient and mentally sharp. Juan Kincaid reports from the Greenbrier.
48 hours removed from the black and gold scrimmage, 4 days and counting down into the preseason games begin on Thursday. Saints training camp is officially 12 days and 9 practices old now, and truth be told, the team, preparation-wise, is about where it should be at this point of camp.
It seems like you tell the same story every year. You know, it's sloppy. I think guys are really trying to do well.
If we learned anything from Friday's scrimmage, it's that it's never going to be perfect. The mistakes are going to be plentiful.
I just think we weren't as sharp as we need to be.
And the positive plays are going to be few and far between.
You're going to see some effort, and you're going to see some guys step up and make some plays we typically always do.
And if we learned anything from last year's training camp, it's that we have to take the good with the bad. And it's how this team responds going forward that's most important. Some observations after 12 days.
No, there's no doubt.
Sometimes you just need to hear those words from your team's leader. This, despite all the changes to this football team over the last 6 months, everything will be okay. And the Saints are still Super Bowl contenders. The way number 9 has looked in this training camp reminds us of that. He's been sharp, he's been focused, and he's determined to get this team back to the playoffs.
I feel like I'm on track with the things that I'm wanting to accomplish in camp. All the things that I'm focused on, from an install standpoint, to film study, to mechanics, to leadership elements with the team.
Now, if only everything else can begin to fall into place. The cupboard doesn't seem so bare now that Marcus Colson is back in the mix and looking sharp as ever. You could tell right away that he and Breeze have spent some time together.
I think that definitely helps, but there's definitely some little nuances that you got to do it to get it. So we made a few minor changes to the offense this year. So just being able to get some live reps has been really helpful.
It's like riding a bike. Maybe you didn't do it for a while, but you get back on it, and it comes back very quickly. We've been in so many different situations together that I think we both see the same thing, feel the same thing, and it works.
At the scrimmage, the first team offense scored a touchdown on the first drive, and that was all Sean Payton needed to see from that group. The same can't be said for the defense. The scrimmage reminded us that there's still some work to be done on that side of the ball, especially with the simple things.
We've got to be able to handle the substitutions better. That's one thing for sure, and those are detail things, and those are things that'll get corrected, trust me.
Substitution problems aside, there have been some real stars in this camp. Brandon Browner and Keenan Lewis have shined. Rookie linebacker Stephon Anthony has been even better than advertised. But the thing that's dominated the conversation here at the Greenbrier for the last 12 days is that Jairus Byrd still hasn't made it onto the field with his teammates. Discouraging to the media and the fans, but his recent fitness work is encouraging to Sean Payton.
There's a progression to it, land-based movements, walkthroughs, all of that. He's on schedule, so fortunately, and I said this yesterday, that there hadn't been any setbacks, and I think that's encouraging.
So we wait for Byrd to surface in a Saints uniform. Meanwhile, the focus now shifts to getting ready for the first preseason game, Thursday against the Baltimore Ravens. Essentially, the Saints will go from the black and gold scrimmage to a more glorified scrimmage in Baltimore in 4 days. And the team's captain says he's ready for that.
You're always excited for kind of new and fresh competition. I mean, eventually in 2 days you get tired of going up against each other, you know, and so and plus the approach of preseason games means that the season is quickly approaching as well, you know. So that's what gets us all excited. I mean, that's what we're preparing for. We're preparing to, you know, get to the regular season healthy and sharp, and hopefully put together wins.
We continue our discussions on the Saints here at the Greenbrier. Bring in Jeff Duncan from the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com. Of course, Jeff, everyone's making such a big deal out of the sloppiness of the scrimmage. That's what it's supposed to be, isn't it? That's how you start making corrections of the mistakes you make.
Well, I think at this time of year, you expect things to be sloppy, but I think the concern is that this isn't an isolated incident with this team. As Sean Payton just said, that earlier in the week they'd had the same problems in a practice with 10 men on the field on defense. We're talking about the substitution patterns that were a problem. And also we saw it happen last year. So this is a recurring problem. I think that's why it's a red flag for this team and why we saw Sean Payton be so upset. But they worked on it today in practice. A lot of the substitution issues they had disappeared. So that's what this time of year is all about. And it looked a lot smoother today. And so if we don't think about that going forward, it's not going to be a problem.
And, you know, after the scrimmage, Sean Payton didn't want to put all the blame on the players. Right. This seems like a systematic coaching issue coming from last year to this year. He's putting as much blame on the coaches as he is on the players.
Oh, I think more of it's on the coaches, and this was something that was a point of emphasis in the offseason, so that's why I think he was so upset the other day. But he seemed much happier today, much more satisfied with how things operated. We'll see how it works Thursday in the Ravens preseason.
Now, we know you were vacationing in some unknown island before you got here, so you've only been here 4 days, but what are your impressions? What stood out to you the most in 4 days of work?
Well, I like the business-like attitude of the team. I think last year humbled this team, and no one's talking about the Super Bowl here this week. They know that they went 7-9. They've got a lot of work to do, very business-like, and I like the professionalism of this football team. I'm a little concerned about some of the depth at some of the positions here. Right now, everything's great. It's the preseason, but we all know injuries happen in this league. The Saints really have to stay injury-free at certain positions or this team could struggle, I think.
Maybe a product of last year, reading the papers last year and looking at this team on film, we all forgot that, oh, they're going against their own offense, so they're going to look really good. Maybe they've learned their lesson. You talked about depth. Safety has been the deepest position on this team for the last couple of years, but we're not seeing Jarris Byrd on the field yet. Concern you?
Yes, it's a big concern. I mean, he needs to be out there. This is a guy that they pay a lot of money to, a guy they're counting on to be not only a leader on the field, but off the field, and he's not out here at all at a time of year when they need cohesion on the back end. He needs to play as many snaps as he can with Kenny Vaccaro because he didn't see much time with him last year when he played. I think it's a major concern, and I think the Saints coaches would like to see him out on the field as soon as tomorrow if they can get him out here, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
You mentioned about there's so many unknowns about this football team, particularly on offense. There's so many positions at wide receiver that are wide open. There's some question marks about what's going to happen on the offensive line. Is there more pressure on Drew Brees because there are so many questions this year?
Well, he's got a lot of people he's going to have to carry, and he's used to doing that. He's been here before. He's been that kind of player that's seen a lot of players come and go around him. We've seen stars like Reggie Bush come and go, Darren Sproles, and the machine just keeps rolling, doesn't it? I mean, as long as Drew Brees is calling signals and Sean Payton's calling the plays, this offense continues to operate at a very high level. And I think that's what they're counting on this year. That's why they were able to trade Kenny Stills and Jimmy Grant. But there's no question he's going to have to carry this team early on when all these new parts are coming into the equation.
The C.J. Spiller guy's been in the league for a while and who we start thinking about, oh, maybe he's the next Darren Sproles. Does that kind of ease the burden a little bit?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, he's a guy that has skins on the wall, has done it at Buffalo. And I think a guy that's fit right in seamlessly to this offense. He's going to play that Reggie Bush, Darren Sproles role, and I think alternate with Mark Ingram and really give them a really good 1-2 punch. And we might see this team early on rely on the ground game a little more than we've seen in the past because you've got that experience in the backfield.
We know they can run the ball, which is a good thing. At wide receiver, and I hate to keep harping on the whole offensive thing, but you've got two guys that are locked in, Cooks and Colston. There's 12 receivers total, so you've got about 10 guys going for 4 final spots. How do you see that shaking out? Who do you see as the surprise odd man out?
Well, I think you and I talked off camera earlier that we think they're going to keep 6 receivers. This is a very deep group, so I think 6 are going to make the team. And the guy that really I think has to turn it up a little bit here is Nick Toon. I mean, he's in his 4th year. There's a lot of good young guys behind him that are kind of competing with him tooth and nail right now for one of those reserve spots, and he hasn't stood out. and he's had his opportunity. The ship's going to sail on him unless he's able to do some stuff here in some of these preseason games.
And he hasn't done anything special right now. Of course, we're getting ready for the first preseason game on Thursday. You've got a football team in the Baltimore Ravens that are big. They're powerful. Sean Payton said this is a great litmus test for what his offense can do and what his defense can do against a very massive football team like them.
Well, and they laid it on the Saints last year in the Superdome. They're a team, you know what you're going to get when you play the Baltimore Ravens. They're physical. They're a typical AFC North opponent, and I think it's going to be a great test. This team needs to get better on both sides of the line. I mean, both lines of scrimmage have to improve if they're going to take the next step. I mean, I know we all get enamored with all the satellite stuff and the great finesse plays that the Saints
make.
make.
In the trenches is where it has to happen.
You win football games in the trenches, and the Saints weren't very good on either line last year, and I think that's a point of emphasis at this camp.
Very good. Jeff Duncan from the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com. Thank you very much.
Always fun, Juan.
Coming up, Delvin Breaux' college career was cut short before he even stepped foot on LSU's campus. But now he's just 2 weeks away from playing in the Superdome. Find out how the New Orleanian is faring to attempt to make the Saints roster. And still to come, it's the Leonard Fournette show at LSU. But what about the quarterbacks and Tiger defense? More than 5.5 years ago, Tracy Porter helped the Saints seal victory in Super Bowl 44. Porter was a homegrown product from Port Allen, and now other Saints like Keenan Lewis and Delvin Breaux will look to follow suit. Breaux is one of the new faces to the Black and Gold's group of defensive backs, and he's a very familiar name here in Louisiana. Sean Fazan has more on Breaux' roller coaster journey to life in the NFL.
You would be hard-pressed to find anyone in New Orleans not pulling for cornerback Delvin Breaux. At one point in his football career, he was a high-profile recruit at McDonough 35, but then a broken neck his senior year nearly ended everything. The injury prevented him from playing college ball at LSU, thus he had to go to the Arena League, then to the CFL, before finally catching on with his hometown team at the age of 25 this offseason.
It's a dream come true, like I said, man. Very inspiring. I'm glad to be out here each day working, grinding, continue to keep putting in work, and hopefully, you know, make the 53-man roster. That's the biggest thing for me right now.
And what makes this story even better is, so far, he's more than just a feel-good story. Breaux has been incredibly productive. He's running with the first team at nickel cornerback, second team on the outside. His progress thus far has caught the eye of his teammates, including one he says he met in New Orleans well before the NFL was ever a possibility.
I saw Brandon Brown walking down the street, and I got so excited. I was like, man, that's Brandon Brown. I said, I finally get to see it, you know, meet him. And I went down there, started talking to him, and, you know, we was going through the arena football stuff. We was just talking, and I was like, man, I'm going to be up there in the NFL with you. Watch. Just wait. And he was like, all right, bro, I can't wait to see you.
I met him down on St. Charles at one of the parades. And the guy was just like, I'm gonna meet you there, you know, I'll be there. And that's surprising that we're on the exact same team, you know. He's one of the guys that you don't want to help, you know, grow, bounce ideas off of him. We had similar role going up there to Canada, so some of the things that he's seen up there I can relate to. You know, he's one of the special guys that I really like, Delvin Breaux.
But while he's done well through 8 practices and a scrimmage, Breaux knows he still has a long way to go.
I'm still working at it. You know, I can't say I'm there yet, but just getting up, taking reps every day, it's getting my confidence built up and kind of see I'm going to be ready for this league.
Now, as crazy as this sounds, Breaux did not grow up a Saints fan. Instead, he grew up pulling for the Washington Redskins. He did say he watched the Saints in February of 2010 for the big Super Bowl and said now that he's here, he wants to help his hometown team win another one. With the Saints at the Greenbrier, I'm Sean Fazan for the Final Play.
While Breaux is hoping to make the 53-man roster, wide receiver Brandon Cooks is penciled in as one of Drew Brees' top targets. Garland Gillen has more on Cooks' push for a breakout season and why this 5'10" dynamo spent extra time with his quarterback this summer.
In the NFL, every player is looking for that edge, a small way to get ahead of everyone else. Receiver Brandon Cooks did just that this summer.
I was in San Diego the whole time, training for the off season. I was with Drew the majority of the time. So we basically, through the off season, more after the OTAs when we got back to San Diego, we threw more often than we did right after season.
Cooks played in only 10 games last season thanks to a broken thumb, but still racked up 550 yards receiving. Numbers in 2015, the Saints think will skyrocket.
One of the things offensively, that ball gets spread around a little bit at receiver especially, and yet you saw the comfort level that we had with him outside and inside, and the timing he and Drew had. So no, I wouldn't have been surprised. And the other thing is, he's a guy that'll play a little bigger than his size. I mean, he's pretty physical, and there's all those things that you need to have to be special in our league. He has those traits.
The knowledge of the game had to increase just from the different looks that I saw last year. I felt like the game was a little fast in that area, but now with our new coach, Johnny Morton, he's definitely helped us in that area to be able to think less and be able to play faster.
Cooks is listed at 5 feet 10 inches on the Saints roster. He's obviously no Marcus Colston height-wise, who's listed at 6'5". But don't you dare call him a short receiver.
Smaller. I feel like down in the red zone, I pretty much can be used anywhere. Whether it's in a fly sweep, screen game, or those little, short routes that a lot of change of direction to get defenders on their back heel. So that's why I feel like I can be special.
You don't like that label, smaller receiver?
Not at all. Not at all. Can't do nothing about it.
With the Saints at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, Garland Gillum for the final play.
Still to come, we're keeping it on the gridiron and heading up to Baton Rouge, where the Tigers have potential, but plenty of key position battles to decide just how successful year 11 under Les Miles will be. From 2010 through 2013, the LSU Tiger football program won 10 games or more each season. But in 2014, the Tigers lost 5 games, matching their worst total under head coach Les Miles. Will it be boom or bust for LSU this fall? Year 11 of the Les Miles era kicked off this past week with mixed expectations. The Tigers are confident they can return to the nation's elite level, but following a down 8-5 campaign, some are wondering if the program has lost its edge. Miles believes his Tigers will compete for championships based on talent, work ethic, and leadership.
They've had a great summer. Our team here has really exceeded expectations in the summertime. A really special group. I'm premature, but all teams exceptional. Maybe to be equal to or greater than some of our best teams. I think that our leadership have taken over that culture.
Overall, the Tigers have always been talented, but last fall their biggest issue came at quarterback, where neither Anthony Jennings nor Brandon Harris emerged as a consistent performer or leader. Harris took all of the reps this offseason while Jennings sat with the suspension. However, Anthony Jennings was reinstated last week, and Miles isn't ready to declare Harris the frontrunner.
I certainly think that he got more reps by far. How much ground he made up, I'm not certain. That'll be something that we'll look at when we get him in camp and evaluate early and late.
There are plenty of options for both quarterbacks to connect with this year, including Traven Durrell, who paced the Tigers with 37 receptions and 7 touchdowns a year ago. Durrell and other teammates say that Harris has really taken a huge step forward in becoming the guy.
He's matured a lot. He's really matured. He's grown. He's grown up. I can honestly say that. Last year, some of the things he would do, it wasn't the best for the team, and now he's playing unselfish, he's making the right decisions and he's doing the right things with the ball.
Maturity. He has hit a maturity button and, like I said, made a complete 180. He put some weight on, got in the weight room, got a little bit stronger, got in the film room, starting to understand the offense more, and said, that kid has really turned it up a notch. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do for this offense.
As a whole, from play calls, making our responsibilities even easy, making our checks easy. And I like that. I believe the whole O-line likes that.
Of course, running back Leonard Fournette will be the focal point of the LSU offense, but this former St. Aug star won't have to do it alone. Fellow running back Darrell Williams, the former John Ehret standout, is also ready to carry the load.
I'm going to have to step up to the plate because I'm going to have to replace Terrence and Kenny. Of course, I'm a running back, so you know I'm going to love for us to run the ball, but we got to also mix it up with the pass, but I think the running game really going to get to where we need to go.
And defensively, look for sophomore D-tackle Devon Godshaw to post some big numbers this fall, especially under new D-line coach Ed Ogeron.
I feel good. You know, this is my year right here. I feel great. You know, I got the best D-line coach in the country. I got the best teammates in the country, so I feel really good. Body healthy, coming off second year of my ACL injury. I feel really great.
LSU's defense will be solid, but their line won't have much depth. So avoiding injury will be key. The Tigers will kick off their season on Saturday, September 5th, hosting McNeese State. Les Miles also handed out the coveted 18 jersey this past week to junior corner Tre'Davious White, someone who best represents the program. This tradition started with national championship winning quarterback Matt Mock in 2003. Then came all SEC running back Jacob Hester, Richard Dixon, and Richard Murphy. In recent years, Brandon Taylor and Benny Logan have sported 18, Marrero native Lamine Barrow and Franklinton's Terrence McGee as well, before the talented Trey White here in 2015. Still to come, Coach Curtis Johnson has a foundation he believes he can build on for 2 more years. See how the first steps toward the 2015 season are coming along for Tulane. As tough as last season was for Coach Curtis Johnson in Tulane, CJ never lost confidence in his Green Wave. He called 2014 a foundation year because so many of his freshmen and sophomores received increased playing time. Johnson stuck with then redshirt freshman Tanner Lee through some growing pains at quarterback, and the move should pay off this fall, with Lee more mature and comfortable in Tulane's system. According to Johnson, winning just 3 games is unacceptable, and his players have put in the work this summer to prevent another disappointing year.
Looks real good. We played a lot of young kids last year, and they begin to come around. They're coming along. We're running around better. We look like we've gotten bigger. They did something in the weight room. Look like we're starting to become a fast team. So I'm proud of this team, what they did in the summer, and I'm happy how things are going so far.
That will do it for this week's Final Play. We'll have the very latest on the Saints each and every day leading up to Thursday night's preseason kickoff against the Ravens in Baltimore. Our next newscast begins at 4:30 a.m. Have a great night.
The Final Play was brought to you by Southern Quality Ford Dealers and Oceana Grill.